This is the second take. I did actually want to do one take, but I realised I actually just getting caught up in my own story, my own crap. So I'm going to do this really quickly because I want this out of the way. The only reason I'm doing this is just to get the brand of Choice Artist kind of communicated, where I'm coming from, just to get used to talking on video. And this time I'm doing it without the pen. I realised when I watched the story, that video that I did yesterday, that I was playing with my pen a lot. But I did actually achieve not scratching too much, and I'm actually achieving not having loads of itches coming up from doing this video. So it's a good, we're getting somewhere, even though nothing's happening as yet. And I'm going to carry on because I want this to be quick. So this is called the Hero's Journey. I don't know if you're familiar with the model. It was kind of devised by a guy called Joseph Campbell, and I kind of wish I'd never come across it, because when you learn the model, when you watch a film, it's all becomes so formulaic. It doesn't matter if you're watching a romantic comedy, horror, sci-fi, fantasy, or anything where you wouldn't even realise that it was a hero's journey, like being John Malkovich or something. It's just obvious, and it ruined films for a long time. So I want to forget about it. So I started out with a career in teaching. Shocked everyone because nobody could believe, because of how I was back then, massive stress head, that I could go into something like teaching, because it was quite social as well, because I was really shy and didn't really talk to a lot of people. Not antisocial, but I wasn't massively extrovert. I'm not extrovert now anyway, but career in teaching, so that became my kind of ordinary world. And my first call to adventure was in a book called Vital Lies, Simple Truths, The Psychology of Self-Deception, which, if you are well versed in self-deception like I was, and you bury your head in the sand and you don't want to see certain things that are going on, it's a really scary book to read. I think I got about a quarter of the way through the book originally, and I was in an hour, and I didn't know whether I was brave enough to finish the book, but I did. I'm really glad I finished the book, because it was the first book that kind of set me on the personal development path, that actually kind of began to teach me that these things are actually possible, and whatever crap you're going through now isn't necessarily an accurate description of reality. It's just how you're thinking of responding to the situations that you're in, which we'll get to. So, and then I read Emotional Intelligence. I thought, wow, this is perfect. This is precisely where my students are going wrong. It's not about their intelligence, it's about the responses to the material that they're learning. It turns out none of them really cared, none of them really interested. Even this year when I was teaching, which I'll get into, none of them really cared. Some people really want to cling on to their own crap for some reason, but trying to get through to them that you spend 10 minutes a day doing this, which is going to clear your mind and make you a far more effective learner when you actually do come to learn, it's falling on deaf ears, so that's fine. I'll leave you to it. Refusal of the Call. This is right at the peak of kind of life coaching fashion that was coming out of 2003, 2004. I thought, oh, I could do that. I'll become a life coach. Well, yeah, but I didn't actually do it because I was focused on a career in teaching. And the original model, we've got tests and enemies, and there's another bit on there which is tests, enemies, and mentors that help you along the way. And I really tried to have a think about what mentors were around at that time, and I still can't think of one now. I've never had, at this point here, going back a good 6 years, I've never had anyone looking out for me. I was breaking my back trying to impress the managers and the heads of school and the rest of it, showing that I was worthy for a full-time contract, and it never happened, which was difficult. It was really difficult, because which I'll get into in Choice Artists. If you're looking for validation to come externally, i.e. you need other people to tell you that you're worthy, then that was a lot to deal with, because it wasn't coming in. So it was literally absolutely, it was just battering the self-esteem, left, right and centre. It was just low self-esteem. Not a nice place to be. My ordeal, and this kind of generally happens if you watch like the film, let's think, they'll do really well, they'll get so far. Limitless, if you've seen Limitless, he crashes and burns about halfway through. That's his death of self, and he's just about to kill himself. Then you have a kind of rebirth, which we'll get into, a lot later. And then you kind of nail whatever it is, the story, your hero's journey, and become the hero again. But my ordeal, my death of self, came when I found out, when I decided to quit, that they paid me 6 months' wages in 3 months, which meant that I was still contracted to work for another 3 months without any money coming in. That was really difficult to take on board. Really, I couldn't really figure out how somebody could do that to somebody, and not think about the fact that they're trying to support themselves and live independently and the rest of it. Why would you pay why would you do that? And I can't really figure it out now. I used to think, how did these people live with themselves? But I know how these people live with themselves now. So one of the reasons is called cognitive dissonance. So if you do join the Choice Artist space on Facebook, we're going to be going through a lot of stuff. We're going to be blowing open your minds, your abilities, your potential, your capabilities, and the rest of it. We're going to go through it step by step. We've got some really interesting stuff coming up. But that really nailed me. I burnt out completely. I was doing 60 hours a week, getting paid for 20, and then they went and did that to me, and I was like, God. And so I went off sick, and then I quit. And then it was just total loss of self. Who am I if I'm not a teacher anymore? What do I do? I've got no job, and it was right in the eve of the recession. It was bad timing. So there were no jobs around, and I had a look on the internet, and there's a hypnotherapy course, and this guy was selling the kind of really immoral, in a lot of ways, idea that you can quit your job and become a therapist and live life on your own terms, and it's really easy, and you only need 2 smoking clients a week and the rest of it, and it sounds easy, but it isn't. So I bought into that. Turns out it was a total waste of time. He had no idea what he was doing. I don't even think he saw clients himself. He was a really kind of lame stage hypnotist, and probably wasn't even very good at that. So I didn't end up completing that. And then I enrolled on an NLP practitioner course, and that was really when I kind of started to get to grips with what I wanted to do. I was still jobless, and I was jobless for a good 3 years mostly, and any kind of work, which is mostly academic, it came in, went straight on courses. So I ended up doing about 5 courses, NLP type courses in total, which are great. So along that time, we're kind of testing enemies. By this point here were internal, my own internal demons, my own crap that I was doing to myself, which I didn't realise that I was doing until I started learning all this NLP stuff, because my training was new code, and the new code emphasis is you sort yourself out first before you even dare trying to sort out anybody else, which is difficult to take on at first, because I didn't actually have any conception of how screwed up I was. You only know these things once you come out, on the other side, and you can look back and think, Jesus, because you just don't think and respond to the world in those ways anymore, which is amazing, which is the sole reason that I'm doing this. I always said to myself that if I can do it, then my clients can do that, and I can say that with congruence now, because I am doing it, and I am kind of living through the world in a whole new way. And so along this journey, I actually had people for the first time, allies and mentors, actually people taking time out to help me and give me advice and the rest of it, and kind of help me along in the path that I'm going in, which I've never had before. I've never had somebody trying to give me good advice, or do me some favours and stuff to get me off the ground, which is amazing, really amazing to have that for the first time, and it all came from that first choice to keep going. So years of uncertainty again. When you get, I don't know if you know anything about NLP or anything, it's rock hard. I don't really use that much NLP anymore anyway. It's rock solid. You don't know if you're going to be any good at it. You don't know if you're going to be able to make a go of it. You don't know if you're going to make a full-time living out of it. You just don't know. The only way that you can do it is just actually go ahead and jump the gun and do it, which is why I'm doing this video now. So I'm still in uncertainty, but I'm in a different place of uncertainty. I'm in a kind of enjoyable uncertainty at the moment. And actually, the meeting of a mentor is a big thing in the hero's journey. So everyone in Limitless, but that your Yodas and your Gandalfs, your Charles Xavier's, and a bit of a boyish bias here, that will give you advice and help you along the way. And actually, I worked with Judy Reed with 6 months, which is an absolute godsend. Really, just taught me everything that I kind of need to know to get myself where I want to be, which I probably might be going into more a little bit later on. But just as that was coming to an end, reluctance to the call, so it was the 4th call to adventure. I promised that I'd do loads of stuff I didn't actually end up doing. There's bits and pieces that probably weren't quite congruent with what I wanted, but I said I'd do them anyway. It kind of held me back. But then I got a job wow, a job, a full-time job for 3 years, and it wasn't through lack of trying either. So I kind of put everything on hold because I thought, right, because I've actually got some money to buy some clothes, I've got some money to go and see some friends once, maybe go out once in a while, and just generally enjoy having a little bit of money, being able to go to Pizza Hut once a month, which doesn't sound like a big deal. It was a big deal, and it is a big deal to me. I don't really want for much. I just want really simple things. So I knew that was coming to an end, but the difference between this point here and the kind of death of self situation is my identity wasn't based on teaching. It was just a job, which is a shame, but it was just a job. I was actually looking forward to work finishing. So the last 3 months, all my money was going on. I bought an iPad so I could do video editing. I bought server space, I bought some domain names for the businesses I'm starting, and lots of other little bits and pieces that's just going to allow me to be self-sufficient for an unforeseen amount of time, which is amazing. So that's the kind of fifth call of adventure that I'm in now. So I'm going through a kind of rebirth, for want of a better word, which is the kind of rising from the ashes, kind of really doing what you want to do, and taking the bull by the horns and attempting to make the kind of life that I want to. If I can't pull it off, then I'll just get a permanent job teaching somewhere, which would be a shame, but it'll pay the bills, I'll be self-sufficient, the rest of it, I'll have some cash. And that's just but it'll be just a job. I don't want just a job though, I want to do what I want to do. I want to wake up in the morning and be full of zest and love doing what I'm doing, because I do love it. I love, if I can help people kind of walk through the world in the ways that I've learned to walk through the world, and that's amazing. That's the sort of stuff that's going to get me out of bed in the morning. I don't have to worry about the stupid government and the dumbass Ofsted and bullying heads of school and the rest of it. I don't have to deal with any of that, or having to rely on somebody else to deem me worthy to do a job, even though I know I can do it. I don't have to worry about any of that. So this is where I am at the moment. And if you look, interestingly, when I did this, if you look at how much of this circle is actually dedicated to kind of nothingness, stress, nothing really happening, you've got a good 3/4 of kind of nothingness, apart from the NLP stuff when I was starting to get back on my feet. But you've got about 3/4 of that timeline it's just kind of it's all preparation. It was all breathing, fertile stuff. So that's a good 6 years of not really having a brilliant life or life at all, really. So I'm right on the cusp now. I'm in such a good place to be able to go ahead and do this. So I'm actually excited. But there's one thing I don't like about this model, it starts back at the same place again. So my journey, and what I hope other people to do, it goes more like this, and this will explain that crazy spiral. If you did see the picture on my Facebook, it's not going off now. Okay, my journey is more like this. It's continuous, continually building, continually recognise aspects of myself that I'd like to change, continually recognising aspects of myself that I'd like to build on, experiences that I'd like to overcome that might be creating a bit of fear, and just generally continually to enrich my life. So it's a never-ending journey. Doesn't stop still for me. I want to keep on going and going and going and going.